Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the massive, electrifying world of esports. But look, we aren't just going to sit around and analyze the players today. No, we are taking a trip from the blinding, flashing lights of the arena straight into the absolute nerve center of it all, the control room. We're going to break down the meticulous mechanics and look at exactly what it takes to manage these incredibly complex events. Just to wrap our heads around the sheer, mind-blowing scale of modern esports, I want you to consider this number. Over $40 million. That was the actual prize pool for the International in 2021, a massive Dota 2 tournament. And you know what's absolutely fascinating about this? While the game's developer put the event together, a massive chunk of that prize money was literally crowdfunded by passionate players and fans just like you. The stakes at the top level of this industry are, without a doubt, astronomically high.
And it's not just about the money. This industry has evolved into a colossal global phenomenon. We're talking about stadiums packed to the rafters, gigantic dynamic screens, and tens of thousands of screaming fans in the live audience. These competitors, they are first-class athletes battling it out on a massive global stage. Honestly, the sheer energy and electricity in these venues easily rivals and sometimes completely blows away what you'd see at a traditional sporting event.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll quickly trace the rise of esports. Second, we'll look at the essential player skills required at this level. Third, we'll break down the 5 core management processes. Fourth, we'll map out the tournament staff and the roles. And finally, number 5, we're going to talk about running your very own event. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The Rise of Esports.
Now, we all know the basic definition, right? Esports is professional competitive video gaming played in highly organized multiplayer tournaments. But when you look at it from an operational, behind-the-scenes standpoint, it's absolutely fascinating. Why? Because it demands the exact same intense teamwork, mental stamina, and physical coordination as traditional sports. The huge difference is the arena. They're doing this on a complex digital infrastructure where players can compete instantly with someone halfway across the globe.
And it didn't just appear overnight. It's actually pretty wild to think that the very first recognized esports tournament happened way back in 1972 at Stanford University. They were playing a game called Space War. And get this, the grand prize for the winner was just a year's subscription to Rolling Stone magazine. Fast forward to the 1990s, where cheap, powerful PCs paved the way for massive, caffeine-fueled LAN parties. That grassroots momentum just snowballed into the 2020s, giving us the massive modern world championships and those multi-million-dollar prize pools we just talked about.
Moving on to Part 2. Essential player skills.
So what does it actually take to compete under those bright lights? The modern gamer's toolkit is incredibly deep. First off, communication is paramount. And I don't just mean shouting into a headset. It's about sharing vital, split-second insights and coordinating complex actions in real time. Then you've got problem solving. In these deep strategy games, anticipating your opponent's next 3 moves and mapping out counter tactics on the fly is absolutely essential. Self-belief is another big one. Really knowing your own weaknesses and having the humility to ask experienced players for guidance. Teamwork is crucial too, right? It means totally understanding your specific role, whether you're the designated sniper or the entry fragger, and perfectly supporting your squad. And finally, resilience. Keeping your cool and maintaining absolute focus despite immense pressure and unexpected setbacks. And honestly, these skills, they translate directly from these digital arenas into incredibly valuable real-world life skills.
All right, Part 3, the 5 management processes. Let's head into the control room.
Having a roster of highly skilled players is great, but it's crucial to understand that putting on an esports tournament is a massive, incredibly complex event production. Every single successful tournament out there, whether it's a multi-million-dollar global championship or just a weekend tournament at your local school, relies entirely on 5 core pillars of event management. We're talking planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and budgeting. When these 5 distinct processes are perfectly in sync, they ensure the competition is fair, safe, and actually fun for everyone involved. Let's break them down one by one. First up is planning. You really have to think of this as drawing up the master blueprint for the entire event. This is where your main objectives are locked in. Are you running a brutal single elimination bracket or a more forgiving round robin? All the rules, player eligibility requirements, and venue details are strictly defined right here. But honestly, the absolute most critical part of esports planning? The contingency plan. Because, let's face it, what happens when the internet inevitably drops or a game server suddenly crashes? Your plan needs to account for all of that before anyone even logs in.
Okay, so once that blueprint is rock solid, it's time to organize.
This is where your grand theory finally shifts into actual practice. It's all about allocating your resources and setting up dedicated committees. You'll need specific teams for things like player registration and actual game operations. You also have to physically prep the devices, and a really vital part of organizing is establishing crystal clear communication channels across all those different teams. You do this so that the second your event goes live, confusion is kept to an absolute bare minimum. The third big process is directing. Now, planning and organizing mostly happen in the weeks before the event, but directing, that is the active, hands-on leadership required during the actual chaos of the event. It involves giving really clear, concise instructions to both your staff and the players. It means actively supervising your committees on the ground and confidently guiding them through inevitable delays or moments of confusion. And crucially, directing also means stepping up as a leader to promote good sportsmanship and enforce proper online etiquettes among all the competitors. Next up, we have controlling. Now, don't let the word fool you. Controlling isn't about being overly strict or micromanaging your team to death. It's really about systematic monitoring to make sure the event actually stays on track. It means keeping a constant, eagle eye on match schedules to avoid domino effect delays. It means rigorously enforcing the rules to ensure fair play. You have to actively monitor for lag spikes, potential cheating, or toxic behavior. When a problem inevitably arises, controlling means taking immediate, decisive corrective action to keep the whole playing field fair and balanced. And finally, rounding out the 5 processes, we have budgeting. This is the responsible financial management that literally makes the whole show possible. You have to carefully estimate all your expenses, right down to the penny, from renting the venue space down to paying for the massive internet bandwidth and, of course, the prize pool. It usually involves hustling to secure sponsorships to help cover those costs. It requires meticulous record keeping. But the absolute most crucial point here, maintaining a vital safety net. You need an emergency fund set aside specifically for unexpected technical emergencies. Because let's be real, in esports, hardware and networking surprises aren't just possible, they are practically guaranteed.
Moving on to Part 4, Tournament Staff and Roles.
You simply cannot execute all those processes alone. Running an event like this requires a highly specialized dream team. You've got the coordinator, who acts as the overarching leader, mapping the entire timeline and keeping the whole machine moving. Then you have the referees. They are right there on the digital front lines, enforcing the rules and settling in-game player disputes fairly and quickly. Then there's the technical team. Guys, they are the absolute backbone of any esports event. They manage the gaming rigs, ensure the internet stays rock solid, and keep those live streams glowing for the viewers at home. Let's not forget the commentators, or casters, who provide that high-energy live analysis that makes the game so incredibly exciting for the audience. And finally, the vital support staff handling the less glamorous but equally important stuff: registration, crowd control, and overall safety inside the physical venue.
Which brings us to Part 5, Running Your Own Event. Let's tie this all together.
So before you ever hit that Go Live button, it's absolutely vital to run through a strict configuration checklist. Think of it as a pre-flight check. Have the exact details of the tournament format been verified by everyone? Have the physical venue or the virtual game lobbies been fully prepped? Do you have incredibly stable internet and, ideally, a backup power source just in case? You've got to double-check that the hardware specifications of the devices can actually handle running the game smoothly. Make sure the registration process is crystal clear to the players. Get your security and crowd control sorted out early. And finally, make sure your technical support team is prepped, caffeinated, and ready for action. Sticking to this checklist ensures that no critical requirement slips through the cracks. But here's the thing you really need to remember. The management workflow absolutely does not end just because the final match is over and you've crowned a champion. The post-event workflow is incredibly critical. You always need to sit down with your entire team afterward to evaluate the results. Did the event actually stick to the budget? Did the tech hold up under pressure? Make sure you collect honest feedback from both the players and your staff. This evaluation process, this whole debrief, is exactly how you level up your management skills so you can make your next event even bigger and better. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a real-world simulation challenge. Imagine you're in the hot seat, running a massive local Mobile Legends tournament. Everything is going great, the crowd is hyped, but suddenly you hit a massive wall. How will you step up? How exactly will you use those 5 management tools we just talked about? Planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and budgeting to save your tournament if unexpected, crippling internet lag strikes or a bitter conflict suddenly erupts between 2 really toxic players. Think about how you'd manage that control room. Thanks so much for diving into this with us today.